Hi, everyone.
Hi, thanks very much, guys. It's wonderful to be back here again at the OSMC, and I'd just like to thank NETWAYS and the OSMC for hosting us yet again. So it's wonderful to be back. So as Johan alluded to in the morning introduction talk, we're here with SearchGuard, who is a sister brand of Eliatra. So first things first, I'm just going to introduce the team. So what we're speaking about today is called SecureAI. And SecureAI is a solution. That's okay, I'll just continue. I'm just introducing the team at the moment. So there are 6 of us that worked on this project together, myself being one of them, Leanne, Lacey, Byrne. I'm a front-end engineer. We also had my colleague, Kajetan Noble, who's based in Poland, so he also worked on this with us. And then from the back end, programming the model, we have Lucas Jeanniot and Nicholas Bieda, who should be here in the crowd as well. We also have then from one of the original founders of the company, Johan Cresson, here today, and then our manager, Mark Oville. So we also have another member of our team here, Niels. So we're all here. If you'd like to have a chat with us, please come over and visit us at the stand. It'd be wonderful to speak to you. And yes, there was a large team of us that worked on this round of this project.
And we're so excited to get over these technical difficulties.
Super. So just to give you a brief overview on Eliatra, what we do at Eliatra is we are open search experts. So I'm glad I'm not saying that I'm a presentation projection expert. We're open search experts. So we offer 24/7 enterprise-grade support and also training and workshops and professional services for open search. So the developments in AI at Eliatra, some of you may remember me from last year. I was here with one of the co-founders of the company, Johan, and the original founders. And we were here last year and we presented last year here at the OSMC, and we presented on experiments with AI and open search. So what we were doing last year was we were using large language models in order to generate DSL queries or domain-specific language queries to query the open search system and generate those prompts for us using the LLM. So through those investigations, we queried and used many different LLMs, some of those being Bard, ChatGPT, and OpsGPT. And we found last year with this preliminary investigation, we were getting positive hit results of about 33%. So there was definitely room for improvement there. So we're back again this year, and this year we're speaking on unlocking data insights with SecureAI, a scalable, secure, and compliant AI solution. The differences between last year and this year is that, as mentioned, we have a much larger team working on this product now. And that's really allowed all of these different areas of expertise to come together. And this time, we've actually built a system, a robust system, SecureAI. We're using LLMs in a much more clever way with this entire system. It's not just testing and seeing how things are going. We've actually generated SecureAI, this system. And also since last year, we've seen huge improvements in LLMs as well. Last year, when we were doing these preliminary investigations, we found that you had to use tokens in order to interact with the LLMs and pay for the service with the tokens. Whereas now we have the LLM fully on our own cloud, on our own server. So that really has opened up a new world of possibilities for us when it comes to interacting with and using these LLMs. So we still don't have slides, that's okay.
Unfortunately.
So what is the problem that we were trying to fix by building SecureAI? So companies have so much data. The amount of data that companies have is just so vast. And really, how do they gain valuable insights from this data? That's what we want to fix for them by developing SecureAI. We want companies to be able to effectively search and look at their data and gain valuable insights from all of this data that companies have sitting around. How are they going to get valuable information from it? We know that companies need to be able to investigate and search their data in a reliable way and to manage various different libraries and sources of their data. It's not just coming from one particular place. And something else to keep in mind when working with AI and LLMs is that they are developing so quickly that the compliance laws aren't necessarily keeping up. So something else that needs to be considered. So the solution to these problems is SecureAI, what we've built. And we're saying, if only you knew what your company knows. So SecureAI is a secure on-premise solution that enables people to use their data and prevent any data risks, because everything is controlled by the company. They have access controlled, so they can control who can access what and what privileges and roles are assigned to different users. Also, businesses require support for complex searching of their data, not just simple investigation of their data. We want them to be able to do complex search queries on their own data. And also that any employee can use this system. It doesn't matter your technical background. We want people from a basic technical background all the way up to an advanced user to be able to use this technology, and in different ways. So we'll give you different views and options with the system dependent on your level of knowledge with LLMs and with investigating your own data within the company. Sorry. That's okay, thank you. So our mission at SecureAI is to revolutionize data management and retrieval for enterprises or for businesses. The technology combines retrieval augmented RAG-enabled large language models with modular data processing pipelines. We're targeting enterprises with strict data compliance requirements because we are going to make sure that this thing is secure. And we're enabling secure, compliant data analytics using LLMs in your daily workflow.
I apologize to the speakers for the technical difficulties here today. Very sorry for that.
Thank you all. Thanks for your patience. Much appreciated. Thank you. That's a relief to see this. So wonderful. So I'll just come back to what is SecureAI. So our mission is to revolutionize data management and retrieval for enterprises. We are using retrieval augmented generation enabled large language models with modular data processing pipelines. So what we want to do is create a solution for enterprises that need secure data retrieval and management within their company, with the use of LLMs, with the AI in there. So to give you a brief overview of the front end, so I'm going to be giving you an overview of the front end of the system, and then my colleague Lucas is going to bring you through the entire back end and how it actually works in the background. So the SecureAI UI is built with React, with TypeScript and Material UI as the component library. This is the front end that the user would interact with. So the features are that you have your standard LLM chatbot, similar to ChatGPT, where you go in and you have a chat interface to chat with the LLM to ask it questions. And the company's data is loaded into that LLM, and therefore you can use more intelligent questioning and get back your own data with the power of an LLM behind your own data that's also in there. So we also have the ability to retrieve the mappings from the index based on selecting the index. So you can select which of the indexes you want to retrieve data from and then generate specific queries to more target the results that you're going to get. So with the retrieved document, we can ask also these queries in natural language. So you're just asking normal questions to the LLM, and it's going to retrieve you your data with the power of the AI. So to give you a little rundown of this, or a demonstration, here you can see our... okay, perfect, that was just the lag, super. So here you can see the front end of our SecureAI system. So as you can see up here, we have different users. And if I select a novice user, The novice user has the very basic view. So down here, you can just ask a simple question like retrieve CVs for software engineers. So my spelling is a little bit off there. Retrieve. So what we have done here, this is for, let's say, a company, and they have many CVs stored in the LLM, in their system here within SecureAI, securely. And they have these CVs stored as opposed to the old system where you'd have them in a filofax or just in a folder and you'd be losing things over the years. All the CVs are uploaded here, and you know, wouldn't it only be correct that we can't get any back at the moment? But normally what would happen here is the CVs are uploaded and then the LLM would retrieve those particular CVs and we'd get a list of actual applicants. So for software engineers, usually what we'd see is, you know, different people who are there who are fit for the role. You could say, retrieve me a software engineer with over 5 years experience, and it would go and grab those particular applicants, or dependent on whatever data you had stored in SecureAI. So that's the novice view. The novice view just has the chat, and you can ask standard questions. Then for the pro user, we have the addition of filters. So you can actually get more ingrained with your responses. You can tell the system, SecureAI, what specific index do you want to query. And when you select a specific index, you can then fill in different properties that are going to target the answer more fine-tuned and give you a better answer. And then we also have the administration view, and for the admin view, you have access to the back end to really get in there and see how you want to configure the system or set up more specified configuration. So with that, I'll hand over to my colleague Lucas, who's going to give you a more in-depth review of the back end and then also a demo of the back end as well.
Hello. Oh, hi everyone. What a long, strange journey it's been. Thank you all for sticking by us, and I will now, move on to kind of what is under the hood of everything you've just heard about so far. So obviously the solution with SecureAI was to kind of enable this on-premise, local, private solution, completely production-ready out of the box to allow businesses to take data from any data source, whether it be existing data buckets or file servers, IMAP, or even just a folder you have randomly sitting on your computer, and then take that structured and unstructured data and transform that into something, once again, out of the box, that is immediately compatible with a RAG system or some sort of conversational data extraction system. So what is that all built out of? And what are the 3 problems that we had that we needed to solve? And each pillar solved one individual problem. The first was, how do you get all of this data, structured and unstructured, and then you process it into a way that will be easily uploadable to a non-relational database like OpenSearch or Elasticsearch or anything else really that you might be interested in. You've got vector databases like Pinecone and so on and so forth. And the solution to that problem was Apache NiFi, which I'm not sure how many people in the room are familiar with it, but it's an absolutely brilliant piece of software for developing these data processing pipelines with just out-of-the-box processors or custom ones you can make yourself to transform and change that data in the way that you need it. Next, afterwards, we have all this data. It's all been processed. You need somewhere to store it. So for this demo and currently in development, we are using OpenSearch for the purpose of storing our vector embeddings, which are generated by large language models, and then using that to retrieve it later on. And then finally, on top of that, for our private and also local inference from Luke Marston and the team over at Helix AI, we're building SecureAI on top of that, which is this absolutely brilliant platform built out of the Ollama infrastructure, which allows you to bring many local LLMs, powerful LLMs, to your own hardware, quantize them, and use them kind of within the GPU or power compute requirements that you may have or need. So let's just go through them one at a time. So as I said before, Apache NiFi is letting us build these blocks, taking our data from one source, doing something to it, transforming it, and then outputting it somewhere else. on top of that, we're also able to do transformations to many different types of data types. We can do JSON, PDF, CSV, zip files, emails, images, video. The list really goes on. The limit with NiFi really is your imagination when it comes to how you want to interact with that data and the structure and the form that you want to transform it into. Also, on top of that, we have the ability to input our own embedding models. Whether you want to use a third party, which, if you care about your data privacy, I suggest you don't, model like Claude or ChatGPT to be able to do all that service for you, but maybe you've just got a spare GPU lying around and you want to be able to run your own inference or embedding models. You can hook that directly into the NiFi infrastructure, collate those embeddings along with your data that has now been structured, and put that into an index at the very end. Also an important thing, which was a real kind of contender as to why we picked NiFi for this at the very end of it all, was in the 2.0 release of NiFi, Python became a first-class citizen. And anybody that's working with large language models or machine learning knows how much Python in anything is good news for us. So we've been able to build out a large library of brilliant kind of custom processors to handle the data for RAG and LLM retrieval exactly the way that we want it. So that's good. Next is just kind of a brief overview of how that looks, maybe from like a systems point of view. We have the supported data types, and this list grows and grows over time. But initially, at the very top there, you have your data sources, whether it be an IMAP server, an index, anything you can really imagine that is containing data. We are routing that based on the requirement, and one of those first requirements is this data structured? So if it's already structured in a way that we can retrieve it for conversational or data insights, then there's not much more we need to do it. Maybe we need to clean the data. Maybe we need to obfuscate some of it due to data or privacy concerns. But ultimately, then we transform that, classify it based on the type of document or type of data it is, vector embed it, and then boop, spit it out into its relevant index. With unstructured data, it gets a little bit more complicated because, if you're working with audio or video, you're going to have to, jig it around, maybe get a description of an image and then work with that and then link that description back to the image. But NiFi definitely allows you that kind of malleability and that control over how you want to do that. Moving on then, OpenSearch, what is there to say about it? It offers great vector support, KNN indexes, full hybrid search as well as neural search. So when we have structured and stored that data, we use OpenSearch then for that kind of unparalleled retrieval ability to be able to take that data, transform it again in our middleware if we so wish, and then deliver it back to the user. Latency is low, storage costs are low, overall satisfaction is high. So that's what I can really say about OpenSearch in regards to that. Oh, I apparently have another slide on it. But yes, we also have the ability, if we so wish, we can take the embeddings out of NiFi and just do that straight into OpenSearch. We can upload our custom models, whether it be, once again, third-party or things running locally, and we can then have that kind of audit control, maybe for trace analytics or observability within OpenSearch. See what kind of data is being vector embedded, see what kind of vector embeddings are being produced, and have an overall idea of the latency or the compute impact that'll have on your system. And then finally, of course, hybrid search, which I think if you're only using lexical or neural nowadays when you're doing search in relation to LLMs, you're really missing out, I think, on a high level of quality in your search returns. Finally, we have Helix, the final component of this, which is allowing the users actually to interact with their data. As I said before, it's built on top of Ollama, and we're building SecureAI on top of that. And it allows us to do one thing in particular, which I'm really excited about, which is build apps or tools. I think they were formerly known as tools. Now they're called apps, which are a sequence of API triggers based on the user's query. So before, you could send a query off, and a lot of the time what you did was just a standard neural search. It took the query, embedded it, you retrieved the data. But now with this, we're able to embed these things called tools, where we can parse the user's query and based off of that query, trigger some kind of action. So maybe we want to search some kind of index for some kind of data. Maybe we want to perform a certain type of search, maybe hybrid, purely lexical, purely neural. Maybe once we have that data, we want to perform another action. Now, I am over-promising here for the demo, but that is something I'd really like to do later on, where we retrieve some kind of data. And we said, cool, that's awesome. Can I write an email? And boom. Helix will allow us to write the tool to take that data that has been generated and trigger some sort of other system function to enable the user to work with their data in a nice way. So then the middleware that I was talking about, which is taking care of all this stuff between all these systems, making sure they're all playing nice together. We've got things like context-aware index switching based on the user's query. We've got full hybrid search, but also every other type of search. We've got dynamic index property, display, which allows advanced users who maybe don't want to rely on an auto-generated hybrid search, but maybe want to input those parameters themselves, or maybe work with those trickier kind of queries where we're dealing with, greater than, less than, ranges, that sort of a thing. And then finally, we have relevant chunk retrieval for medium to large size documents, which allows you to kind of escape that max contact length window that we often have with LLMs and really dive into your document and get the thing that's most relevant to you. So that is, once again, file diagram. I'm going to skip past this one because I'm actually just going to show you how the system works. But we'll just exit out here and go to, so this is our front end, as we saw before. Now we have NiFi, which I explained before. So this is just a very simple demo flow that we've prepared for all of you here today. We have our different data input types. So at the very top here, we have a fetch file with different kind of file servers that we'd be taking your data from. Down here, we have IMAP, where we've got an email server with different emails with documents contained within those emails that we can then extract and parse and then ultimately upload to OpenSearch. Then we can send our data into our different flows, where we'll be doing some extraction, some chunking, and then ultimately sending it all out to the indexes. Now, for the users, they'll be setting these parameters. They'll have the ability to construct these initial output measures, see what kind of index. Maybe they just want one massive index for their company, one massive brain. Maybe they want to be a bit more refined with how their data is stored. And NiFi and the front end for SecureAI will allow them to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click Start. It's not going to throw any errors because this has already been enough challenge today. And we're going to see if there's any movement, but there should be. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I've missed a fundamental step because we all uploaded our emails earlier. What we actually want to do is go here, actually give it directly to NiFi. I mentioned before, a random file server just sitting on your computer is entirely permissible for SecureAI. Maybe you've just got your own personal index. You're working at a company and you want to work specifically with the data that you received today. You don't want to pass it through the entire network. You can just have your own personal index where your documents are being passed through. And as you can see here, whoop, quick as lightning. Our data is input, it's processed, and then finally, it's sent to the relevant index. So now that's all sitting in OpenSearch, waiting for us to have a conversation with it. So let's try it out. Hey there. Do I have any unpaid invoices from Leanne? Better not. So now, in theory, and I really hope it's not a theory, we're going to now see that it's going to trigger a tool called the get invoices. What that means is it goes, okay, the user has made a request related to a certain type of data that exists within our database. So now let's go query that index, let's get that document, let's make sure that it's the right one by using a context-aware analysis of the query and return it back to the user. So I do, actually. Turns out that you owe me a good bit of money. But maybe I don't want to do that. She's been late on paying those in the past. I think I need to hire a HR manager to sort this out. Do we have any applicants? So now, hopefully, in theory, but we'll wait and see what we get back, is we'll ask a different type of query, all within the same session, but this time we'll be hitting a different index, triggering a different tool, looking for a different type of data while still keeping the context of that conversation going. And yeah, we apparently get Marcus Patel. He looks like he's great for the job, 10 years of experience, recruiting, that's awesome. So let's maybe shoot him, draft up an email saying that I have this issue, I have your CV on hand, and now I'd like to maybe have a CV and something ready to do. So that's great. Ooh, my spelling isn't great. Can you draft? Now this will. I'm really interested to see if this breaks or not. I am actually stress testing the system as much up here as I shouldn't be. But what we like to play around with is having these kind of multi-tool trigger queries, where if we have a moment where a user is asking something and we have this massive library of tools that all do different things in the system, what happens if a user asks something that's going to be taking data from different indexes? Is it going to freak out? Is it just going to default to one? Currently, just one, but we've had some promising results in the past before in regards to these kind of queries. For a job interview for him regarding the current situation. Don't break. Or I'll clap, even if it breaks, just like it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. Yeah. So generally that, oh, it actually worked. Nice. I mean, yeah, it worked, guys. It worked. Thank you. Wonderful. So there you go. And as you can see here, we have that context of the earlier conversation. We have the individual's details that we got from the previous document, and now we have this final kind of request that actually wasn't touching any particular tool or index. It didn't need to trigger one. It knew in that moment that it had all the data that it needed in order to formulate the response back to the user. And that's the sort of thing that we want to be able to enable with SecureAI, with employees working in enterprises, by solving all these problems of not knowing where your data is, not knowing what you can do with your data, and having that central point to access and work with it. So that kind of does it for that demo. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit thrilled that we got there in the end. So see, look, didn't even see that link there? That's not a link. Didn't even need to do the backup video. So yeah, that's all. Leanne, if you want to come back up. That's all from us. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if we're able to do questions or people want to go for lunch. But yeah, thank you for sticking with us throughout that.
Thank you very much, Lucas and Leanne, for this wonderful presentation. Again, apologies for the technical difficulties. Still, I would like to give them the chance to answer any questions you have right now, if there are any. Otherwise, I would have at least one from myself. How easy can I attach different systems to it? So if I have data sources like a ticketing system, what would I need to do to get that data into this kind of system?
So let's say, for instance, you're saying something like Jira.
Maybe.
We got Jira.
Yeah.
We got Jira. Anything really that has an endpoint that you can hit to get data that's living on a thing, you can just pull that into NiFi. Originally, NiFi was originally envisioned as this kind of, if you have data somewhere and you have an endpoint for us to access it, we can take that data and do something according to your specifications.
What kind of endpoints are kind of supported? What does it have to serve?
What is that? I actually, in terms of the Jira thing, I couldn't quite tell you, but all it needs to do is to look out for certain file types, maybe logs, you specify like file extensions, and once it has identified those within that system, it's able to grab it in, and it doesn't grab the file per se, which is really interesting about NiFi. It grabs a representation of that file, known as a flow file, that contains all of the data that you might want about it, as well as attributes, such as when it was created, maybe in regards to an email, the CC, sender, receiver, that sort of a thing. And what you're actually manipulating and transforming at the end of it all is the representation of the file rather than the data itself, which will remain safe, remain secure, not be exploded by NiFi at some point in the pipeline. But I haven't played around with the Jira endpoint myself, or the Jira connectivity from NiFi to Jira myself just yet. But I know that that would be something that would be really interesting for people, as well as things like log analytics, being able to take logs from an index or a database and maybe constructing
or structured data from a database,
yes,
which gets updated regularly.
Yes, absolutely, and kind of doing something to like maybe keep up with that. I'm actually building a logging system within NiFi itself right now to actually track not only how the data was transformed, but what happened to the data before it entered, but everything that's happened to the data within, and then being able to spit that out into a log itself for audits and reliability and stuff. So
that's awesome. again, thank you very much, Lucas and Leanne. They will be around at their booth, Eliatra, over here in the hallway. If you have any questions or just are curious about what they are doing in other fields, please reach out to them. So, thank you very much, Lucas and Leanne.